Previously on His Invisible Wife. 3 years. 1 cold marriage. 0 love. In an arranged marriage to Mafia heir Jin-Sang Baek, Tia Gordon finally breaks and starts dating other men out of loneliness. But when Jin-Sang crashes her date, jealousy exposes the truth. He'd loved her since their wedding, keeping his distance only to protect her. Their long-denied marriage finally turns real. When rival syndicate leader Kang Junho tries to buy Tia's marriage for triple its worth, Tia chooses Jin-Sang, claims her place at Baek Industries, and steps fully into a world that once tried to cage her. Now pregnant, Tia isn't just surviving his world, she's securing her place in it. And you know the drama isn't over. Anyway, let's get back into it.
6 months pregnant, and Tia was discovering that growing a human being was simultaneously miraculous and exhausting. She shifted in the cafe chair, trying to find a comfortable position that didn't exist, while May watched with barely concealed amusement. "You're glowing," May said, her eyes twinkling. "No, I'm sweating. Pregnancy glow is real. You look gorgeous." "Exhausted, but gorgeous." May pushed a pastry across the table. "Eat. You're eating for 2 now. Everyone keeps saying that. Do you know how much weight I've gained?" Tia took the pastry anyway. The baby had opinions about food, and apparently, croissants were approved. "Do you know how little Jin-Sang cares? The man looks at you like you're a goddess carrying his heir. It's actually disgusting how in love he is." Tia felt warmth spread through her chest. Jin-Sang had become impossibly protective since they'd learned about the pregnancy. Hovering, checking in constantly, researching everything from cribs to college funds. It was sweet and occasionally suffocating. "He's been good," Tia admitted. "Really good. Though he did try to fire 3 board members who suggested I should take maternity leave early." Classic Jin-Sang. Destroy anyone who implies you're weak. I had to explain that maternity leave is normal, not an insult. Tia sipped her tea, another thing the baby had opinions about. "But enough about me. Let's talk about you and Do-hyun." May's face transformed, a giddy smile breaking through her usual cool composure. "Oh my god, Tia. I'm so gone for him. Tell me everything. And I mean everything." "Okay, so you know how I kept accidentally running into him at coffee shops?" Jin-Sang mentioned. "Frequently." "Well, apparently Do-hyun thought it was cute. He told Jin-Sang he wanted permission to ask me out properly, which is both incredibly old-fashioned and incredibly hot." Tia laughed. "Permission from Jin-Sang? That must have been a terrifying conversation." Do-hyun said Jin-Sang stared at him for a full minute in complete silence, then said, "If you hurt her, Tia will be sad. If Tia is sad, I'm homicidal." "Understood." That sounds exactly like something he'd say. Right? "So Do-hyun took me to this amazing restaurant, not as fancy as the places you and Jin-Sang go, but really intimate and sweet. And he was so nervous, Tia. This man who can probably kill someone 17 different ways was nervous about holding my hand." "That's adorable." "It gets better. At the end of the night, he walked me to my door and asked if he could kiss me." "Asked? Like a gentleman." May fanned herself dramatically. "I obviously said yes, and oh my god, the man can kiss. I'm talking weak knees, forget your own name kissing." "I'm so happy for you," Tia said, reaching across to squeeze her friend's hand. "You deserve someone who treats you well," says the woman who turned a disaster arranged marriage into an epic love story. "That was mostly luck and Jin-Sang's inability to share. That was you being brilliant and refusing to settle." May's expression turned serious. "Speaking of which, have you heard anything from Junho lately?" Tia shook her head. "Nothing since his wedding announcement." "Why?" "Just. Do-hyun mentioned there's been some tension. Territorial disputes between the Baek and Kang organizations. Nothing major yet, but Jin-Sang's been in more meetings than usual. He hasn't said anything to me. Maybe he doesn't want to worry you while you're pregnant." Tia frowned. They'd promised each other transparency, partnership. If Jin-Sang was keeping things from her to protect her, they needed to have a conversation. Her phone buzzed. "Jin-Sang, how's coffee with May?" Feeling okay? Need me to send a car? She smiled despite her annoyance. I'm fine. Stop hovering. I'll be home in an hour. Make it 45 minutes. I have something to tell you. Tia's stomach tightened with instinctive worry. Good something or bad something? Neither. Just something. I love you. I love you too. Everything okay? May asked, reading her expression. I think so. Jin-Sang wants to talk about something. Probably just baby stuff. You know how he gets. Probably, Tia agreed, but the unease didn't fade. They finished their coffee, May regaling her with more stories about Do-hyun, how he'd started bringing her favorite flowers, how he remembered everything she said, how he looked at her like she was the only person in the room. It reminded Tia of how Jin-Sang looked at her now. Like she was precious. Essential. His entire world. When they parted ways, May with her security detail, Do-hyun had insisted, even off duty, and Tia with hers, Tia felt the weight of something shifting. Like the calm before a storm. She shook off the feeling. Pregnancy hormones, probably. Making her paranoid. But when she got home and saw Jin-Sang's expression, serious, troubled, carefully controlled, she knew her instincts had been right. Something was coming. Jin-Sang was in his study, surrounded by papers and laptop screens, his expression darker than Tia had seen in months. He looked up when she entered, and some of the tension left his shoulders. You're home, he said, standing immediately to pull her into his arms. His hand settled on her rounded belly, a gesture that had become automatic. How's our son? Active. He kicked through most of tea with May. Tia pulled back to look at him. What's wrong? Business complication. Nothing you need to worry about. Jin-Sang. Her voice was sharp. We agreed. No more secrets. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Junho's been making moves. Trying to expand into territories that were agreed upon as neutral. My father thinks he's testing boundaries, seeing if we'll respond. And will you? I have to. If I don't, it looks like weakness. Other families will think they can push too. Jin-Sang's jaw clenched. I'm flying to Busan tomorrow. There's a meeting with the southern families. We need to present a united front. How long will you be gone? 3 days. 4 at most. He cupped her face. I don't want to leave you, especially not now. But this is important. I understand. I'm not helpless, Jin-Sang. I'll be fine. I know you're not helpless. But you're 6 months pregnant with my child, and the world we live in doesn't take days off. I can't be in 2 places at once, and I need to know you're safe. Which is why you're not leaving the compound while I'm gone. And you're doubling your security detail. That's excessive. Non-negotiable. Please, Tia. For my peace of mind. She could see the genuine fear beneath his control. Jin-Sang didn't scare easily, but the thought of something happening to her or the baby terrified him. Okay, she said softly. I'll stay home. I'll be careful. Thank you. He kissed her forehead, then her lips, then crouched down to kiss her belly. You take care of your mother while I'm gone, he murmured to their unborn son. And stay put for another 3 months. No early arrivals. Tia ran her fingers through his hair, heartful. We'll be fine. Go handle business. Come home safe. Always. That night, Jin-Sang made love to her with desperate intensity, like he was memorizing every inch of her, every sound she made. Afterward, he held her close, his hand protective over their baby. I love you, he whispered into the darkness. More than anything in this world. You know that, right? I know. I love you too. If anything ever happened to you or our son, nothing's going to happen. Stop catastrophizing. But even as she said it, Tia felt that same unease from earlier. Like the universe was holding its breath. Jin-Sang left early the next morning, kissing her goodbye while she was still half asleep. When she woke fully, the penthouse felt too empty, too quiet. She threw herself into work, reviewing contracts from her home office, video conferencing with her team. The day passed uneventfully. So did the second day. On the third day, Tia's phone rang from an unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her pick up. Hello, Tia. Junho's voice, smooth and cold. I hope I'm not interrupting anything important. Her blood went cold. How did you get this number? I get whatever I want. You should know that by now. She could hear the smile in his voice. I have something that belongs to you. Or rather, someone. What are you talking about? Your husband. Jin-Sang is currently indisposed. The meeting in Busan was very productive. For me. Tia's heart stopped. You're lying. Am I? Check your email. I just sent you proof. With shaking hands, Tia opened her laptop. The email was there, a video file. She clicked it. The footage showed Jin-Sang unconscious, bound to a chair in what looked like a warehouse. His face was bruised, blood trickling from a cut on his temple. But his chest was moving. He was alive. What do you want? Tia's voice was ice despite the terror clawing at her throat. You. Alone. If you want your child to have a father, you'll come to the address I'm about to send you. You have 2 hours. Come alone, or I start sending pieces of Jin-Sang back to his father. If you hurt him. 2 hours, Tia. Don't make me wait. And don't tell anyone. I have people watching. If I see Baek security, Jin-Sang dies. Understand? Yes. Good girl. See you soon. The line went dead. Tia sat frozen, her mind racing. This was a trap. Obviously a trap. But that was Jin-Sang in the video. Hurt. Captured. Helpless. She should call Dae-young. Should call her security team. Should do anything except what Junho was demanding. But if she did, and Junho killed Jin-Sang, her hand went to her belly. Their son. Who deserved to know his father? Who deserved to grow up with both parents? The address came through. An industrial area on the outskirts of Seoul. Abandoned warehouses. Perfect for an ambush. Tia stood, grabbed her keys, and made a decision that would change everything. She was going alone.
Tia went alone to meet Junho even though she knew it was a trap. Brave or stupid? Let us know in the comments and make sure you're subscribed because you don't want to miss what happens next.
Tia made it 3 blocks before Do-hyun's voice came through her car's speaker system. Mrs. Baek, where are we going? She nearly screamed, swerving slightly before regaining control. Do-hyun? How? I'm in the vehicle behind you. You thought you could lose your security detail. His tone was professionally neutral, but she heard the concern underneath. What's happening? I can't tell you. You need to stand down. With respect, ma'am, that's not how this works. If you're in danger. If you don't stand down, Jin-Sang dies. The words came out harsh, desperate. Please, Do-hyun. I'm begging you. Fall back. Pretend you lost me in traffic. I'll explain everything later. There was a long pause. Does this have to do with the unknown call you received 20 minutes ago? Of course they were monitoring her phone. Of course. Yes. And I can't say more. Please. Another pause. Then, I'm going to regret this. Falling back now. But Mrs. Baek. I'm calling reinforcements the second I lose visual. You have a 5-minute head start. Make it count. Thank you. She drove faster, taking turns randomly until she was sure she'd lost Do-hyun's tail. Then she headed for the address Junho had sent. The warehouse district was exactly as ominous as she'd imagined. Abandoned buildings, broken windows, the smell of rust and decay. Tia's hands shook on the steering wheel as she pulled up to the specified location. The moment she stepped out of the car, men appeared from the shadows. 6 of them, all armed, all watching her with cold efficiency. Mrs. Baek, one of them said. This way. They led her inside the warehouse, through corridors that smelled of mold and neglect, into a large open space that had been converted into something else entirely. A gilded cage. Literally. In the center of the warehouse sat an enormous cage made of ornate gold bars, furnished with expensive rugs, silk cushions, a bed with fine linens. Like a prison designed by someone with too much money and not enough sanity. And standing outside the cage, looking perfectly composed in an expensive suit, was Kang Junho. Tia, he said warmly, like they were meeting for lunch. I'm so glad you came. Please don't be afraid. The cage is for your protection, not punishment. Where's Jin-Sang? Tia demanded, scanning the warehouse. The video was very convincing, wasn't it? Special effects have come a long way. Junho smiled. Your husband is fine. Probably still in Busan, wondering why you're not answering his calls. The betrayal hit her like a physical blow. You lied. You made me think. I made you come here. Which was the point? Junho gestured to the cage. Please, go inside. We have much to discuss, and I'd prefer you comfortable. Well, as comfortable as possible in your condition. I'm not getting in that cage. Then my men will put you in it. Your choice whether it's gentle or not. Think of the baby, Tia. The threat was clear. Tia's hand went protectively to her belly, and she saw Junho's eyes follow the movement with disturbing intensity. She walked into the cage. The door locked behind her with a soft click. Junho pulled up a chair just outside the bars, settling in like this was a social call. Much better. Would you like something to drink? Eat? I have everything prepared for you. What I'd like is to leave. In time. First, we need to talk about our future. We don't have a future. You're married. I'm married. I'm having Jin-Sang's child. That child should have been mine. The words came out sharp, possessive. This whole situation should have been mine. You, the power, the empire we could have built together. Instead, you chose him. Tia stared at Junho, really seeing him for the first time. The perfectly composed mask was cracking, revealing something desperate and unhinged underneath. You're married, she repeated. To the diplomat's daughter. I saw the announcement. A political arrangement. Meaningless. Junho's hand clenched on the arm of his chair. My father forced it after you rejected my offer. Said I needed to secure alliances, stop obsessing over you. But I never stopped wanting what should have been mine. I was never yours. I made my choice. You made the wrong choice. And I'm going to prove it to you. Junho leaned forward. Jin-Sang can't protect you. Look where you are right now, in my cage, carrying a child that should have been my heir. He's weak, Tia. He let love make him weak. Love isn't weakness. It is in our world. And soon, Jin-Sang will understand that. When he comes for you, and he will come. I'll be ready. I'll take everything from him. His wife, his child, his organization, his life. And when he's gone, you'll finally see that I was always the better choice. Tia felt ice in her veins. He'll kill you, she said quietly. When Jin-Sang finds out what you've done, he'll destroy you. And everyone you love. Let him try. Junho stood, smoothing his suit. I have allies he doesn't know about. Resources he can't match. And most importantly, I have you. His weakness. His blind spot. The thing that will make him reckless and stupid. He walked toward the cage door, then paused. Get comfortable, Tia. We're going to be here a while. And when Jin-Sang finally arrives, his smile was cold. Well, that's when the real fun begins. Then he left, his footsteps echoing in the vast warehouse, leaving Tia alone in her golden prison. She sank onto the silk cushions, her hand on her belly, feeling their sun kick against her palm. It's okay, she whispered to the baby. Your father will come. And when he does, Junho is going to learn what real ruthlessness looks like. She just had to survive long enough to see it. Jin-Sang knew something was wrong the moment Tia stopped answering his calls. He'd been in the final meeting in Busan, negotiating territories with the southern families, when his phone had started buzzing with increasingly urgent messages from Do-hyun. Mrs. Baek left the compound. Alone. I lost her. She received a call from unknown number before leaving. She was afraid. She said if I followed, you would die. I gave her 5 minutes head start, then called it in. Jin-Sang had excused himself from the meeting and called Tia's phone 17 times. Every call went to voicemail. That was 3 hours ago. Now he was in a helicopter racing back to Seoul, his mind calculating possibilities, none of them good. Tia wouldn't have left the compound without good reason. Wouldn't have evaded security unless she thought she was protecting him. Which meant someone had threatened him. Used him as leverage to get to her. His phone rang. His father. "We found her car," Dae-jung said without preamble. "Industrial district, warehouse area. She's not in it. Surveillance. We're pulling footage now." But Jin-sang, this was professional. Whoever took her knew our security protocols. Junho. Jin-sang's voice was flat dead. The kind of calm that preceded violence. "We don't have proof. It's him. He's been too quiet. This is his move." Jin-sang looked out at Seoul sprawling beneath them. "Mobilize everyone. I want every asset we have on this. Call in every favor. I don't care what it costs. Son, we need to be strategic about this." Strategic? Jin-sang's control cracked, rage bleeding through. "He has my pregnant wife. My son. There's no strategy, father. Only war. If you go in reckless, then people die. A lot of people. Starting with anyone who helped him." Dae-jung was quiet for a moment. "I'll make the calls. But Jin-sang, when this is over, when Tia is safe, you need to remember who you are. The organization needs a leader, not a monster. Then pray we find her quickly." Jin-sang hung up and immediately dialed another number. "Min-jae. I need everything you have on Kang Junho's operations. Properties, safe houses, business fronts, everything." "I heard. I'm already compiling it." Min-jae paused. "Hyung, I'm sorry. If you need anything, I need my wife back. Everything else is secondary." The helicopter touched down at Baek headquarters, where controlled chaos had erupted. Men in dark suits moved with purpose, phones pressed to ears, laptops open, weapons being distributed. Hannah Park appeared immediately, her expression grim. "We've traced the unknown call. It originated from a burner phone, but the cell tower puts it in northern Seoul. I have teams canvassing the area. Show me properties Junho owns or has access to in that radius." Already pulled them. 17 possibilities. She pulled up a map on her tablet. But there's one that stands out. Old manufacturing warehouse, purchased through a shell company 2 months ago. Right after his wedding. Jin-sang stared at the location. 2 months. Junho had been planning this for 2 months. That's where she is. We don't have confirmation. I know. Jin-sang could feel it in his bones. That's where she is. Prepare an assault team. Jin-sang, Hannah said carefully. If you're wrong, if we go in loud and she's not there, we tip our hand. Junho will move her somewhere we can't find. Then we'll make sure I'm not wrong. Jin-sang turned to his gathered men. I want eyes on that warehouse in 20 minutes. Thermal imaging, satellite feeds, everything. If Tia is in that building, I'm going to know before we breach. The room erupted in motion. Jin-sang stood at the center of the storm, his mind ice-cold and brutally focused. Every move calculated. Every option considered. But underneath the strategy, underneath the control, something dark and primal was awakening. Junho had made a fatal mistake. He'd taken the only thing in the world Jin-sang valued more than power. And for that, there would be no mercy. No negotiation. No survivors. Just blood and ashes and the absolute certainty that when this was over, Kang Junho would beg for a death Jin-sang would be in no hurry to grant. His phone buzzed. Do-hyun. I'm sorry, Do-hyun said immediately. I should have. You gave her 5 minutes and called it in. You did exactly right. Jin-sang's voice was flat. What I need now is for you to keep Mei safe. She's going to hear about this, and she's going to panic. Keep her contained, keep her calm, and keep her away from this situation. Understood? Sir, bring her home. I will. Or I'll die trying. He meant it. 15 minutes later, Hannah returned with thermal imaging. 3 heat signatures in the warehouse. One consistent with a pregnant woman. Another matches Junho's build. The third is unknown. Armed guards outside? 6 that we can see. Probably more inside. Doesn't matter. Jin-sang checked his weapon, the familiar weight grounding him. We go in quiet until we can't. The priority is getting Tia out safely. Everything else is expendable. Everything? Hannah asked. Everyone, Jin-sang corrected. If they're in that building and they're not Tia, they die. No exceptions. No witnesses. His father appeared in the doorway. I'm coming with you. No. You're staying here to coordinate. If this goes wrong, it won't go wrong. You're my son, and she's my daughter-in-law carrying my grandson. I'm coming. Jin-Sang looked at his father, 70 years old and still ready for war. He nodded once. Then let's go get my wife. The assault team loaded into unmarked vehicles. 20 men, all trained, all loyal, all ready to die if necessary. As they drove through Seoul's streets toward the warehouse district, Jin-Sang felt the transformation happening inside him. The civilized businessman falling away, revealing the thing his father had spent 25 years creating. A weapon. Cold. Efficient. Merciless. Tia had seen glimpses of this side of him, but never the full extent. Never what he was truly capable of when someone threatened what was his. She was about to. And so was Junho. The warehouses appeared in the distance, and Jin-Sang smiled, a terrible, empty expression that made even his own men nervous. Everyone clear on the objective? He asked, his voice pleasant, conversational. Secure Mrs. Baek. Eliminate all hostiles, the team leader confirmed. Close. Secure Mrs. Baek. Eliminate all hostiles except Kang Junho. Jin-Sang checked his weapon one final time. Him, I want alive. But only just. The vehicles went dark, engines cutting as they coasted into position. Move. Tia had been in the gilded cage for 4 hours when she heard the first gunshot. She'd spent the time doing what she did best, observing, analyzing, planning. The cage was solid, but the lock was electronic. There was a small camera in the upper corner, watching her. 2 guards rotated watch outside the warehouse. Junho had visited twice, both times rambling about the future they'd have once Jin-Sang was dealt with. The man was delusional, dangerous, and clearly underestimating her. When the gunfire started, distant but distinct, Junho rushed into the warehouse space, his composure finally cracking. It's too soon, he muttered, checking his phone. He shouldn't have found us this quickly. You underestimated him, Tia said calmly. Jin-Sang doesn't lose. Especially not when it comes to me. Shut up. Junho pulled out a gun, his hands shaking slightly. This wasn't the plan. We were supposed to have more time. Plans change. You should have learned that when I rejected your offer the first time. More gunfire. Closer now. Screaming. The sound of bodies hitting the floor. Junho's phone rang. He answered with shaking hands. What's happening? Tia couldn't hear the response, but she watched Junho's face go white. How many? That's not possible. We had 30 men. He listened, his expression transforming from fear to horror. All of them. The line went dead. Junho stared at his phone, then at Tia. Your husband is a monster. No, Tia said softly. He's a man protecting his family. The warehouse door exploded inward. Jin-Sang walked through the smoke and debris like an avenging angel, blood splattered across his face and suit, a gun in each hand. Behind him, more men fanned out, securing the space with military precision. His eyes found Tia immediately, scanning her for injury, for harm, for any sign that he was too late. I'm okay, she called out. The baby's okay. We're both okay. The relief that crossed Jin-Sang's face was profound. Then his gaze shifted to Junho, and all emotion vanished, replaced by something cold and lethal. Let her out, Jin-Sang said quietly. Now. Or what? Junho raised his gun, pointing it at the cage. At Tia. You'll kill me? You need me alive to unlock. Jin-Sang shot him. Not to kill. The bullet shattered Junho's knee, sending him crashing to the ground, screaming. I don't need you alive, Jin-Sang said, his voice conversational as he approached. I need you suffering. One of Jin-Sang's men produced bolt cutters, making quick work of the electronic lock. The moment the cage door opened, Tia stumbled out, and Jin-Sang was there, catching her, pulling her against him with desperate gentleness. I'm so sorry, he breathed into her hair. I should have been here sooner. Should have protected you better. Should have. You came, Tia interrupted, pulling back to look at him. That's what matters. You came. Always. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. Are you hurt? Did he touch you? Did anyone? No. I'm fine. Just scared. And our son is very angry about all the stress. He's been kicking constantly. Jin-Sang's hand went to her belly, feeling the movement. Something fierce and protective crossed his face. Then he looked at his father, who'd appeared in the doorway. Get her out of here. Take her home. Full medical team waiting. No, Tia said firmly. I'm not leaving without you. Tia, what I'm about to do. I know what you're about to do. And I'm not leaving. She met his eyes. We're partners, remember? For better or worse. That includes this. Jin-Sang looked torn. Then Dae-young spoke up. Let her stay. She's earned the right to see how this ends. Jin-Sang reluctantly nodded slowly, then turned his attention to Junho, who was writhing on the ground, clutching his shattered knee. You made several mistakes, Jin-Sang said, crouching beside him. First, you assumed I valued strategy over rage. Second, you thought you could use my wife against me. Third, you failed to understand what I am under all the civilization. Jin-Sang, Tia said quietly. Before you, whatever you're planning, I need to tell you something. He looked at her. While I was in the cage, I listened. Junho talked a lot. About his operations, his allies, his plans. She pulled out a small device from her pocket, a voice recorder she'd palmed from her purse before leaving home. I got all of it. Names, locations, financial accounts. Everything. Jin-Sang stared at her, something like awe crossing his face. You recorded him? I told you I'm not helpless. I might have been trapped, but I wasn't idle. Tia handed him the recorder. This should be enough to dismantle his entire organization. Plus, I noticed the security system here is all connected wirelessly. If someone could hack it, they'd have access to his whole network. Hannah, Jin-Sang called out, never taking his eyes off Tia. Get in here. Hannah appeared, took the recorder and the information about the security system, and disappeared again with a smile. You're incredible, Jin-Sang said to Tia. I'm practical. Now finish this. I want to go home. Jin-Sang turned back to Junho, his expression darkening. You heard her. She wants to go home. Which means you have about 60 seconds to explain why I shouldn't kill you right now. Your father, the council, there are rules about. Junho gasped through the pain, his words tumbling out desperately. You can't just execute people. There'll be retaliation. Political fallout. I have allies. Jin-Sang tilted his head, considering. Not good enough. He looked at Tia, something dark and final in his eyes. Close your eyes, baby. Tia understood immediately. Her breath caught, but she turned her head away, her hand instinctively going to her belly. The rules apply to people, Jin-Sang said softly, his voice devoid of emotion. You stopped being a person the moment you put your hands on my wife. He grabbed Junho by the hair, yanking his head back. Wait, please. I'm sorry. Junho's voice pitched high with terror. Too late. The sound was quick, wet, final. Then silence. Tia kept her eyes closed, her other hand clenched in a fist, her breathing shallow. She heard the body hit the floor. Heard Jin-Sang's footsteps approaching. It's done, he said quietly. You can look now. She opened her eyes to find Jin-Sang standing in front of her, blocking her view of Junho's body. There was blood on his hands, on his cuffs, but his expression was calm. Empty. Are you okay? He asked, searching her face. Tia nodded slowly. Are you? I am now. He turned to his men. Clean this up. Make it look like internal conflict in the Kang organization. No connection to us. Yes, sir. Jin-Sang took Tia's hand, the one not stained with blood, and led her toward the exit. She didn't look back. This was Jin-Sang's world. Dark, ruthless, unforgiving. And she'd chosen to be part of it. She'd chosen him. Even this version of him. Ready to go home? Jin-Sang asked. More than ready. As they walked out of the warehouse, Tia saw the aftermath of Jin-Sang's rescue. Bodies. Blood. The complete decimation of Junho's security. How many? She asked quietly. 32. All confirmed hostile. No civilian casualties. No Baek casualties. And Junho's organization? Hannah's dismantling it as we speak. Between your recording and our resources, it'll be gone by morning. Anyone who worked for him has a choice: swear loyalty to us or leave Seoul permanently. And if they don't choose quickly enough, then they don't get to choose at all. It should have scared her. Instead, Tia felt only relief. Jin-Sang had protected her. Protected their son. Done what needed to be done. In the car, Jin-Sang kept his hand on her belly, feeling their son kick, reassuring himself they were both real and safe. I was terrified, he admitted quietly. When Do-hyun called, when I realized you were gone. I've never felt fear like that. I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting you. The video looked so real. I know. Junho was smart about that. Too smart. Jin-Sang's jaw clenched. But not smart enough. No, Tia agreed, leaning her head on his shoulder. Not nearly smart enough. They rode the rest of the way in silence, both processing what had happened, what it meant, what came next. At the penthouse, a full medical team was waiting. They checked Tia thoroughly: blood pressure, fetal heartbeat, signs of stress or injury. Everything looks good, the doctor said finally. But I want you on bed rest for the next few days. Your blood pressure is elevated, understandably. Let's not take chances this close to the third trimester. I'll make sure she rests, Jin-Sang said, his tone leaving no room for argument. After the medical team left, after Jin-Sang had showered and changed, washing away the evidence of violence, they lay together in bed. His hand never left her belly. I killed a man in front of you tonight, he said quietly. Are you okay with that? Tia thought about it honestly. He kidnapped me. Threatened our son. Planned to kill you. So yes, I'm okay with it. Does that make me a bad person? It makes you realistic. And strong. And exactly the partner I need. Even when I do reckless things like going alone to meet a psychopath? Even then. Though let's not make a habit of it. Agreed. They drifted toward sleep, exhausted and relieved and grateful to be together. Jin-Sang? Tia murmured. Thank you for coming for me. Always, baby. Always.
Did you expect Jin-Sang to let Junho live, or did you know he was dead the moment he touched Tia? Tell us your thoughts in the comments.
The next morning, May arrived at the penthouse like a small hurricane, bypassing security with the ease of someone who'd been authorized by Jin-Sang himself. She burst into Tia's bedroom where Tia was dutifully staying in bed per doctor's orders, took one look at her best friend, and promptly burst into tears. You're okay, May sobbed, climbing onto the bed to hug her carefully. When Do-hyun told me what happened, I thought. I was so scared. I'm fine, Tia soothed, hugging her back. The baby's fine. Everything's fine. You were kidnapped by a psychopath. And my psychopath rescued me. It all worked out. May pulled back, wiping her eyes. This is not funny. I know. I'm sorry. How are you? Do-hyun said you were pretty upset. Upset doesn't cover it. I wanted to storm that warehouse myself, but Do-hyun. She paused, a slight blush coloring her cheeks. He was really good about it, actually. Kept me calm. Kept me updated. Didn't let me do anything stupid. Sounds like he knows you well already. Yeah. May's expression softened. He stayed with me all night. Just held me while I panicked. Told me Jin-Sang would bring you home safely. That you were strong and smart and would survive until he got there. He was right. He usually is. It's annoying. But May was smiling. He brought me breakfast this morning. Made it himself because he knows I stress bake but can't actually cook. We ate together and he just listened. Let me talk about how scared I was. Didn't try to fix it, just listened. That's sweet. He's really sweet. Like, unexpectedly sweet for someone who can kill people with his bare hands. May flopped back on the bed beside Tia. I think I'm in love with him. I think he's in love with you too. You think? May, the man asked Jin-Sang's permission to date you. That's not casual interest. True. May grinned. Also, he kissed me goodbye this morning and it was, wow. Details. Not when you're on bed rest and pregnant. Your heart can't take it. They laughed together, the tension of the past day finally breaking. Seriously though, May said, her expression turning serious. Are you okay? Like, really okay? You went through something traumatic. I did. And I'm processing it. But Jin-Sang's been. Tia paused, searching for words. He's been present. Attentive. He hasn't left my side since we got home except to shower. He's scared, I think. That it'll happen again. That he can't protect us. Can he? Protect you? Tia thought about the warehouse. The bodies. The absolute ruthlessness Jin-Sang had shown. Yes, she said with certainty. He can. He will. Anyone who tries to hurt us again will regret it very quickly. Good. May squeezed her hand. Because you're having a baby in 3 months and I need you alive to make me godmother. You're assuming you're going to be godmother. Please. Who else would it be? Fair point. They spent the rest of the morning together, May regaling her with stories about Do-hyun's unexpected romantic streak, how he'd started leaving her little notes, how he remembered every small detail she mentioned. He's taking me to meet his mother next week, May said, her voice a mix of excitement and terror. Is that too soon? It feels too soon. We've only been dating for like 2 months. Do you want to meet her? Yeah, actually. I do. Which is weird because I never wanted to meet anyone's mother before. Then it's not too soon. It's exactly the right time. A knock on the door interrupted them. Do-hyun appeared, looking apologetic. I'm sorry to interrupt, but May, you have that appointment in an hour. Oh, right. May stood, then looked at him with open affection. You remembered my dentist appointment? I remember everything you tell me. Do-hyun's smile was small but genuine. I'll drive you. You don't have to. I want to. He looked at Tia. Mrs. Baek, I'm glad you're safe. If you need anything, I'm available. Thank you, Do-hyun. And please, when we're not in crisis mode, call me Tia. I'll try. But he smiled. May kissed Tia's cheek. Rest. I'll check on you tomorrow. And if you need anything, I'll call. Now go. Don't be late because you were fussing over me. After they left, Tia heard their voices in the hallway. Do-hyun asking if May was really okay, May assuring him she was, the soft sound of a kiss. Tia smiled. At least something good had come from all this chaos. Jin-Sang appeared in the doorway, carrying a tray with lunch. May's gone. Just left. With Do-hyun. Good. He's been worried about her. About both of you. Jin-Sang set the tray across her lap. Eat. Doctor's orders. You're taking this bed rest thing very seriously. You're carrying my son. I'm taking everything seriously. He sat beside her, watching her eat with the intensity of someone memorizing details. How are you feeling? Really? Tired. Sore. Emotionally wrung out. But okay. We're okay. Good. Jin-Sang's hand found her belly again. I've been thinking. About? Stepping back. From the darker parts of the business. Let my father or my brother, Min-jae, handle enforcement and situations. I want to focus on the legitimate operations. On our family. Tia set down her fork, surprised. Really? Really? What happened yesterday? I can't live through that again, Tia. Can't risk you or our son because of business. He met her eyes. You're more important than power. Than the organization. Than everything. Jin-Sang, you can't just walk away from who you are. I'm not walking away. I'm choosing differently. There's a difference. His voice was firm. I can run the legitimate side, be there for you and our son, and still maintain authority. But the wet work, the violence. I'm done unless absolutely necessary. What changed? I killed a man in front of you. Saw your face when you realized what I was going to do. And I thought, I don't want my son to see that side of me. Don't want him to grow up afraid of me. Tia cupped his face. He won't be afraid of you. He'll know you protected his mother. Kept him safe. Did what needed to be done. Maybe. But I still want to be more than just a killer to him. Want to be better. Jin-Sang kissed her palm. They spent the rest of the afternoon in comfortable silence, Jin-Sang working from the bedroom while Tia rested, his hand frequently reaching out to touch her, to reassure himself she was there. Safe. His. Theirs. Mei stood outside a traditional Korean house in a quiet neighborhood, gripping Do-hyun's hand like it was a lifeline. I can't do this, she whispered. What if she hates me? Do-hyun squeezed her hand, his expression soft in a way that was reserved only for her. She won't hate you. That's impossible. You don't know that. Mothers have opinions. Strong opinions. What if she thinks I'm not good enough for you? Then she'd be wrong. He pulled her closer, his voice dropping to that low, gentle tone that made her knees weak. Mei, look at me. She did. You're brilliant, funny, kind, and you make me happier than I've ever been. My mother is going to see that immediately. And if she doesn't, I don't care. I'm choosing you anyway. That's very romantic, but also you should care what your mother thinks. I care what you think. That's enough. He kissed her forehead. Now breathe. And remember, she already likes you. How could she possibly already like me? She's never met me. Because I talk about you constantly. She says I'm insufferable about it. Despite her nerves, Mei smiled. You talk about me? All the time. It drives her crazy. She's been demanding to meet you for weeks. Why didn't you tell me that? Because you would have panicked sooner. Do-hyun's smile was teasing. Ready? No. But let's do this anyway. The door opened before they could knock, revealing a small, elegant woman in her 60s with kind eyes and Do-hyun's smile. Yama, Do-hyun said warmly, bowing respectfully. This is Park Mei. Finally. His mother pulled Mei into an unexpected hug. I was beginning to think my son made you up. Come in, come in. I made too much food. Mei shot Do-hyun a look that clearly said you could have warned me she was nice, and followed his mother inside. The house was cozy, filled with family photos and the smell of home cooking. Do-hyun's mother, call me Yoonji, please, bustled around the kitchen, setting out enough food to feed an army. Sit, sit. Do-hyun, help me bring out the rest. When they were alone for a moment, Do-hyun leaning against the counter while his mother checked something in the oven, Mei noticed the way he looked at her, soft, proud, completely at ease. This was a side of him she rarely saw. Not the stoic bodyguard, but just a son. A man visiting his mother. You come here often? Mei asked. Every Sunday for dinner. It's tradition. Do-hyun smiled. I was hoping you'd join me from now on. If you want. Every Sunday? Every Sunday. Fair warning, she'll try to feed you constantly and ask invasive questions about when we're getting married and giving her grandchildren. As if on cue, Eunji emerged from the kitchen. Do-hyun, when are you going to make an honest woman out of her? You're not getting any younger. Nama. I'm just saying. She's beautiful, she makes you smile, and I can tell she's good for you. Don't wait too long. Good women don't wait forever. Mei nearly choked on her tea. Do-hyun just sighed, clearly accustomed to his mother's directness. We've only been dating 3 months, he pointed out. So? Your father proposed after 2 months. When you know, you know. Eunji turned to Mei. Do you love my son? Yama. Do-hyun looked mortified. But Mei met his mother's eyes directly. Yes, I do. Very much. Eunji beamed. See? She's perfect. Don't mess this up. The rest of dinner passed in a blur of delicious food and easy conversation. Eunji told embarrassing stories about Do-hyun's childhood, how he used to rescue injured animals, how he'd been the gentlest child despite his size, how he'd always been protective of people smaller than him. He got in a fight once, Eunji said, her eyes twinkling. Defending a girl in his class who was being bullied. Came home with a black eye and no regrets. That sounds like him, Mei said, smiling at Do-hyun who was trying very hard to look stoic despite his obvious embarrassment. He's a good man. Too serious sometimes, too worried about protecting everyone else. But good. The best. Eun-ji reached across to pat May's hand. And I can see he's happy with you. Really happy. That's all a mother wants. After dinner, Do-hyun and May said their goodbyes, promising to return next Sunday. She loved you, Do-hyun said as they drove away. You think? I know. She told me in the kitchen while you were in the bathroom. Said, and I quote, if you don't marry that girl, I'm disowning you. May laughed. Your mother is not subtle. No. She's really not. Do-hyun pulled over suddenly, parking along a quiet street overlooking the Han River. What are we doing? May asked. I need to talk to you about something. His serious tone made her nervous. Okay. Do-hyun turned to face her fully, taking both her hands. I know we've only been together for 3 months. I know that's not very long. But my mother is right, when you know, you know. May's heart started racing. Do-hyun. Let me finish. Please. He took a breath. I've spent my entire adult life protecting people. It's what I do, who I am. But with you, it's different. I don't just want to protect you. I want to make you laugh. Want to see you smile. Want to be the person you come home to at the end of the day. I want that too, May whispered. I love you, May. I'm completely in love with you. And I know 3 months isn't a long time, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to play it safe or follow some arbitrary timeline. I want. He pulled out a small box from his pocket. May gasped. Oh my God. I want to marry you. Do-hyun opened the box, revealing a simple but beautiful diamond ring. I want every Sunday dinner with you and my mother. Want to wake up next to you every morning. Want to build a life together. So Park May, will you marry me? May's eyes filled with tears. This is insane. We barely know each other. I know enough. I know you're stubborn and brilliant and kind. Know you ugly cry at romance movies but pretend you don't. Know you stress bake when you're worried and that you're scared of commitment, but you're trying anyway. With me. You noticed all that? I notice everything about you. Can't help it. His thumb brushed away a tear that had escaped. So what do you say? Will you marry the serious, overprotective bodyguard who's completely gone for you? May laughed through her tears. Yes. This is crazy and impulsive and everything I said I'd never do, but yes. I'll marry you. Do-hyun slipped the ring on her finger, then pulled her across the console to kiss her. Deep and sweet and full of promise. I love you, he murmured against her lips. I love you too. Even though you're insane for proposing after 3 months. You're insane for saying yes. We're perfect for each other. We really are. Tia is going to die when I tell her, May said. Jin-Sang already knows. I asked his permission. You asked his permission? Old-fashioned, I know. But he's basically your family. It felt right. Do-hyun smiled. He said if I hurt you, he'd make my death look like an accident. That sounds like him. They drove back to May's apartment, Do-hyun walking her to her door like he always did, kissing her goodnight like it was the first time and the 1000th time all at once. Text me when you're inside, he said. I always do. I know. Humor me anyway. May watched him walk away, her hand on her ring, her heart so full it almost hurt. Then she immediately called Tia. I'm engaged, she screamed the moment Tia answered. Oh my God. Tell me everything. And she did. Every perfect, impulsive, absolutely crazy detail. Because that's what best friends were for.
Do-hyun proposed after only 3 months of dating. Too fast or when you know you know? Let us know your take in the comments.
3 weeks after the incident with Junho, Seoul's underworld had settled into a new order. The Kang organization had been completely absorbed into the Baek Empire. Those who'd sworn loyalty were integrated. Those who hadn't had left Seoul as promised, or hadn't left at all, in a more permanent sense. Junho's wife had filed for divorce the day after his death, publicly citing infidelity and embezzlement. The diplomat's family had quietly thanked Jin-Sang for resolving a difficult situation. Political favors had been exchanged. Alliances strengthened. Business as usual, in the world Tia now inhabited. She was 8 months pregnant now, moving slowly and uncomfortably, counting down the days until she could see her feet again. Jin-Sang had become impossibly more protective, barely letting her out of his sight. "I'm going to the office," Tia announced one morning, already dressed and ready. "No, you're not." Doctor said bed rest. Doctor said reduced activity, not house arrest. "I have a board meeting." Video conference. In person. Jin-Sang, "I'm pregnant, not dying. I need to get out of this penthouse before I lose my mind." They stared at each other, wills clashing. Finally, Jin-Sang sighed. "Fine. But I'm coming with you. And you're sitting the entire time. And if you look even slightly tired, we're leaving immediately. Deal." The board meeting went smoothly, Tia presenting quarterly results that showed continued growth and expansion. Several members congratulated her on her impending motherhood. Others looked at Jin-Sang sitting protectively beside her and wisely kept their comments to themselves. After the meeting, as they were leaving, they ran into Dae-jung in the hallway. "Tia," he said warmly. "You're looking well. How's my grandson?" "Active. Very active. I think he's going to be a soccer player based on the kicking." Dae-jung smiled, a rare, genuine expression. "He'll be strong. Like his mother. And stubborn like his father," Tia added. "That too." Dae-jung looked at Jin-Sang. "I need to speak with you. Privately." Jin-Sang's expression closed off. "I'll be right back," he told Tia. "Wait in my office. I'm pregnant, not fragile. I can walk to the elevator." "Please." Tia sighed but nodded, heading to Jin-Sang's office while he spoke with his father. 20 minutes later, Jin-Sang returned looking thoughtful. "What did he want?" Tia asked. "He's stepping down. Fully retiring. He wants me to take over as head of the family." Tia's eyes widened. "That's huge. What did you say?" "I said I needed to discuss it with my wife before making any decisions." Jin-Sang sat beside her. "It would mean more responsibility, more exposure, more danger, potentially. But also more power to protect our family. More ability to steer the organization in the direction we want." We, Tia confirmed. "I'm in this with you, remember? Partners." "Partners," Jin-Sang agreed. "So what do you think? Should I take it?" "I think." Tia considered carefully. "I think you're ready. You've been preparing your whole life for this. And with me handling the legitimate side and you overseeing the whole operation, we'd be stronger than your father ever was alone. So yes, take it. Become head of the family. But on our terms. We modernize where we can. We reduce violence where possible. We build something better." Jin-Sang pulled her close, mindful of her belly. "Have I mentioned lately that I love you?" "Not in the last hour." "You're slipping." "I love you. You're brilliant and strong and the best partner I could have asked for." "I know. Now help me up. Your son is sitting on my bladder and I need a bathroom." They returned to the penthouse that evening to find it transformed. Rose petals on the floor. Candles everywhere. A dinner table set with fine china. Jin-Sang, "What?" "We never had a proper first date at home. Just at restaurants." He guided her to the table. "I wanted to do something special. Just for us." "You cooked?" "Of course not. I had it catered. But I set it up myself." Tia laughed, her heart full. "It's perfect." They ate slowly, talking about everything and nothing. About baby names and nursery colors. About the future of the organization. About Mei and Doohyun's relationship, which was getting serious fast. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For this. For fighting for us. For becoming the man I always knew you could be. Thank you for seeing that man when I couldn't. For not giving up on me. For choosing me." They ate together, the city lights of Seoul glittering beyond their windows, their future bright with possibility. Tomorrow, Jin-Sang would accept his father's position. Would become head of the Baek family. Would shoulder all the responsibility and danger that came with it. But tonight, they were just a husband and wife, having a romantic dinner in their home, waiting for their son to arrive. And that was enough. More than enough. Everything. 2 years later. The garden was decorated with white flowers and twinkling lights, transformed into something out of a fairy tale. Guests mingled in elegant attire, champagne glasses in hand, waiting for the ceremony to begin. Tia adjusted her dress, finally able to wear something that wasn't maternity wear, and watched May pace nervously in her bridal suite. "I can't believe I'm doing this," May said for the 15th time. "Marriage. Me. It's insane." "It's perfect," Tia corrected. "You and Do-hyun are perfect together." "What if I'm terrible at being a wife?" "Then you'll be terrible at it together. That's what marriage is." May stopped pacing and laughed. "I've missed your blunt honesty. I've been right here the whole time." "I know, but you've been busy being a mom and running an empire. It's very time-consuming." Tia smiled, thinking of her son. Baek Min-jun was currently with his father and grandfather, probably being doted on excessively. At 18 months, he had Jin-sang's eyes and her stubborn streak, and he'd wrapped the entire Baek family around his tiny finger. "Being a mom is the best thing I've ever done," Tia said softly. "Well, second best. Marrying Jin-sang was first. Look at you, all domestic and happy." "I am happy. Really, genuinely happy." A knock on the door interrupted them. Jin-sang appeared, looking devastating in his tuxedo, holding Min-jun, who was dressed in a miniature suit. "Mama." Min-jun reached for her, and Tia took him gratefully, kissing his chubby cheeks. "You look beautiful," Jin-sang said to May. "Do-hyun is a lucky man." "Thank you." "Is he nervous?" "Terrified. But in a good way." Jin-sang smiled. "Ready?" The ceremony was simple and beautiful. Do-hyun cried when May walked down the aisle. May cried when he said his vows. There wasn't a dry eye in the garden. At the reception, Tia danced with Jin-sang while Min-jun played with Dae-jung, who'd become a surprisingly devoted grandfather. "This could have been us," Jin-sang said, pulling her close. "If I hadn't been an idiot for 3 years. We got here eventually. That's what matters. Still, I wasted so much time. Then let's not waste any more." Tia kissed him softly. "Let's just be happy. You, me, Min-jun, whatever comes next." Jin-sang agreed. They watched May and Do-hyun have their first dance, watched their friends celebrate, watched their son laugh as his grandfather made silly faces. This was peace. Hard-won, carefully maintained, absolutely precious. "I love you," Tia said. "I love you too. Always have. Always will. Even when I'm difficult? Especially when you're difficult." Min-jun toddled over, demanding to be picked up by his father. Jin-sang scooped him up effortlessly, and Tia's heart melted at the sight. This was her family. Her life. Her choice. And she'd never been more certain of anything. Later that night, after Min-jun was asleep and the celebration had ended, Jin-sang and Tia stood on their balcony, overlooking Seoul. "Do you ever regret it?" Tia asked. "Marrying me?" "The arrangement, the complications, everything that came with it." "Never. Not for a second." Jin-sang pulled her against him. "You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Even when I was too stupid to realize it. We've come a long way from that restaurant where you crashed my date. Best decision I ever made. Well, second best. What was first? Finally telling you I loved you. Finally fighting for us." Tia turned in his arms to face him. "I'm glad you did. Glad you fought. Glad we made it here." "Me too." Jin-sang kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. "What do you think? Ready for round 2? Round 2. Another baby. Min-jun needs a sibling. And I want a daughter this time. One who looks exactly like you." Tia laughed. "You want to be outnumbered? I want a family. A big, chaotic, perfect family. With you. Then let's make it happen." They went inside, to their bedroom, to their life together. The past was behind them, the loneliness, the mistakes, the pain. The future was ahead, full of possibility and promise and love. And the present was exactly where they were meant to be. Together. Forever.
If you've made it this far, you're my people. Let's make this official. subscribe to the channel, give this video a like if you're enjoying the journey, and tell me in the comments, what was your favorite part? Ciao, until we meet again in the next story.